about some of the stuff the camera's pointed at, but we'll just let Mike go ahead and take over. He's got the appropriate microphone on him to do this right now.
Yeah, so we're watching number 89 backpack in the jacuzzi. He's a young adult male, 8 years old. He was born in 2006, and he was raised as a cub. Jacuzzi. He's a young adult male, 8 years old. He was born in 2006, and he was raised as a cub in this area. One of the few bears that we were able to recognize based on physical characteristics from a yearling cub to an independent 2.5-year-old bear to this young adult bear that we're seeing right now. Fishing the jacuzzi doesn't have to compete with other big males up at Brooks Falls right now. If other bigger, more dominant bears come, he'll likely yield that spot if they want it. But he's getting some practice in there right now. The jacuzzi can be a tough place to fish for some younger bears.
They're all lined up in a row.
But he's giving it a shot. Hasn't had success this morning, however. And we're on the wildlife viewing platform here at Brooks Falls, so if you hear other people talking or you hear some shuffling or something like that, that's because there's going to be other people walking around.
Mike, okay.
Yeah, so earlier in the morning when we thought, one of the questions that people were asking was what was the oldest bear what is the oldest bear that we have here right now, and certainly not number 89 that you see here. There's a bear that's actually an old female, maybe the largest female that we have here on the river, number 410, and she's thought to be about 26 years of age. Some of our younger well, we have bears in their 20s as well, too, likely. Number 480, Otis, he's probably around 20 years of age or so. But none of the other bears here on the Brooks River are thought to be as old as number 410.
And there's a question, has Otis been seen today?
Not to my knowledge. I don't think number 480 has been seen. A lot of times we see him fishing at the falls. He was here yesterday an awful lot, so he may make an appearance today. This is the time of the year, though, where a lot of bears are starting to disperse from the Brooks River because you still have fairly energetic salmon, but you have low densities of salmon, and the salmon aren't migrating up to Brooks Falls anymore and trying to get beyond that. So it can be difficult for bears to fish here at this time of the year. Consequently, that's why we're not seeing a whole lot right now. But we haven't seen number 480 right now. With number 89 here, I'm very interested in to watch his maturation as he grows, as he ages. Where will he fit in a hierarchy of bears? Will he be a very dominant bear, for example? When will he be able to compete with the really, really big bears for females, for example? I just don't know where he'll fit into that, where he'll exactly fit into that hierarchy. There was a question earlier in the day about whether darker bears achieve higher levels of dominance, and there seems to be some pretty good evidence that bears that are darker do obtain higher levels of dominance here at Brooks Falls, at least. They darken with age, and they also their fur color also darkens with the season. Oh, there's a harlequin that just flew by.
Yeah, too fast for me to
get. Too. So we'll look for those ducks to come back, but it's the first one I think I've seen in the Brooks River this year. Bears, as they're shedding their fur coats right now, the new fur coats that happen to grow in are going to be darker. So they darken with the season, they darken with age. Males tend to be darker than females. Number 89 here, he has darkened considerably since he was a 2.5-year-old bear or a yearling cub. He was a very, very blonde bear and has since darkened. So, oh, the mother? Yeah. Yeah, and his mother was a pretty blonde bear too. His mother is number 435. She's nicknamed Holly. And we saw her this year with another cub down at the mouth of the Brooks River. She didn't come up to Brooks Falls and fish alongside her former cub right here. But she was a very blonde bear. So the color of bears is genetically controlled, just like it is with people. So some people have lighter hair colors than others, and it's the same way with our brown bears here. There was a book written about the ecology dominant bear too, really up until about 2007. During the summer of 2007, he ended up getting in a fight with another really large bear and fairly dominant bear, number 864, who is nicknamed Norman. And Norman defeated BB in a fight right here at Brooks Falls. And if you want to see video of that fight, you can download the ebook version of our bear ID book.
The iBook version.
Or the iBook version, excuse me, not the ebook, the iBook version. Off of iTunes. You can find the links to those in the About section just above the comment stream on explore.org. So watching that video, number 24 is defeated by Norman. After that point in time, we didn't see BB a whole lot. Didn't seem like he was necessarily significantly injured in that fight. We did see him come through just once in 2007, but after that, we just haven't seen him. So whether he's deceased or not, I just don't know. But perhaps but perhaps the presence of Norman in this area up there during the middle of the day. BB, we happen to see a lot. We got to see him throw his weight around quite a bit, but we didn't really get a chance to see Norman throwing his weight around. Fair. Briefly, just to go over that again.
It's off again.
It's off again.
Yeah.
All right. Right.
hotspot instead of connecting to there. We were on by hotspot instead of connecting to there. We were on by hotspot instead of connecting to there.
And this is where a lot of the bears that maybe can't compete with some of the bigger bears up at Brooks Falls will often come to fish. And I know over the past few days, people maybe have been wondering a little bit about the vegetation that's nearby here. Katmai National Park has a lot of different habitats. We're not quite Arctic, although we have Arctic-like habitats way up high on our mountains. Down at this elevation, though, this is still fairly temperate. Even though it can get pretty cold here in the winter, it's not uncommon to have minus 20 Fahrenheit, minus 30 Fahrenheit, so it can get pretty cold. But still, we're fairly temperate at this elevation here. We're only about 60 feet above sea level, so a lot of the vegetation that you're seeing around here and around the brook. Tree, Populus balsamifera, and that tree, Populus balsamifera, and that again, trees aren't the most exciting thing to put on video. I could talk about trees probably most of the day. but I know most people are tuning in for bears. So we're still going to be looking out for bears. We're still going to be talking about the behavior of the bears that we happen to see as well. So that's the Kenai paper birch, one of the more common trees that we have around here. We've had some fairly significant outbreaks of insects along the Brooks River during the past few years or so. 2006 and 2007, very large outbreaks of spruce bark beetles. So if, especially on the lower river camera, oftentimes you'll see a lot of dead standing large outbreaks of spruce bark beetles. So if, especially on the lower river camera, oftentimes you'll see a lot of dead standing